Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another Comic Art Live special event. And before you get the questions out there, yes, I did get my haircut. See, look, it's at least 6 inches shorter than it was the other day. You saw me. So tonight we've got Hake's auctions on for a special preview of their auctions that are going to begin ending on the art side of things on Wednesday. So let me not leave these guys in the green room any longer. Let me bring on Kelly McClain, Timothy Fling, and Sean Rutan. He's putting in the phonetics in there for you so you don't mess it up and you don't call him Rutan or whatever. But everybody, before we even get started, it is Sean's birthday today, everybody. Goodness. He is 34 years old. Yeah, I just heard it in the green room.
Nah, thanks, y'all. I appreciate it.
45. Yeah, 45. Dang.
Yeah, man.
Well, time flies when you're having fun.
As everybody in this hobby says, I wish I had started when I was younger.
Well, your back wall looks pretty good there, Sean. I'm always you're at home, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's
freezing down here, so I almost put a hat on.
Yeah, well, I was over at Berkey's, and if you've ever been over there in the wintertime, you know it's freezing beyond bear over there. So
yeah, in the house, but in his area, it's always nice and steamy.
That is true. That is true. But we were very busy filming memes today, so we weren't in the art section, unfortunately. So,
dig.
Yeah, that's how it goes. But nice to have you guys on. And as everybody knows, Hakes has their auction going on. You have some stuff ending tomorrow, but the art portion of the auction starts ending on Wednesday. So you guys are all hands on deck. Except for Sean, he's not at the facilities, but I think Kelly and Tim are going to be spending the next 48 hours at Hake's, never getting out of there.
Pretty much chained to our desk. Yeah.
Exactly. But you wouldn't have it any other way. Fortunately, you don't do these every weekend. So it's
no, we're not Bill Cox. We're not here every night on a live video. Every night of our lives.
Well, yeah. No, you're right. Not everybody can be me. But that's all right.
No.
Yeah. It's fun. But the thing is, I think that planning helps you always roll out great auctions. That's part of the methodology there. And you know what? I didn't get a catalog this time. Maybe but I did get. What did I get? I got a flyer. So
okay.
So you guys know, I got off the catalog list, but I got on the flyer list. So what do we got here? A little bit of art on the back. Lots of collectibles on the inside of it. So
we'll have to remedy that. I apologize, but
no, that's all right. You were just telling it the last time we did it. We were talking about how they are collectible items. Those catalogs you guys put out.
Yeah, we'll get it slabbed first, then we'll send it your way.
Right, exactly.
All right. Well, let's see. I got to put the important people on the top row. So let me get Sean and I are at the bottom. That doesn't mean anything about you, Sean. This means me.
It's an Ohio versus PA thing. I see.
That's right. Nice. Exactly. So tell me about this particular auction and all the work that went into bringing together the comic art side of things. I mean, you have a lot more pieces in this auction, comic art wise, than you did in the last one. So was it what was that like? Are you seeing consigners more prone to coming out, or are you just discovering more things that you were able to get into this auction?
Well, a little bit of both things, and I'll let Kelly tackle the consignment part because he's been doing a great job with that. But I will say that we're trying to make a concentrated effort on upping our game in the art department. As you know, original comic art in particular, has just been skyrocketing, and the market is in a place that it's unbelievable, actually. So I feel that that's a great thing to focus our efforts on, to kind of zero in on the original art, and particularly some of the comic pages. I'm kind of a comic page guy, like we were saying, so I always like to see the pages. But we got some other cool stuff too. We've got the mosaic. We'll come up to talking about that, and I'll let Kelly talk a little bit about the consignment part.
Yeah, no, we've had trust of the consigners for quite some time now, and many of them Sean introduced to me, to Hake's, and we've been working with them ever since. People like to come to the facility. People like to come to Hake's. They like to come and meet Alex, meet me, meet Tim, and just it's nice to know that when they consign with us, it's when they come to Hake's that their stuff is in good hands, and it's under lock and key like it should be, and eventually gets into the catalog. So this time I met with a lot of different people. I mean, there's pieces that came from all over the country. I mean, from Florida to Texas to uh, California. I mean, the things they couldn't come in person. So we definitely broadened our reach, I think, recently to get some of these great covers. Some came from a lifelong collection of Buck Rogers pieces, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
Some of those are really some of my favorites because they haven't seen the light of day. A lot of these pieces haven't seen the light of day to the collector in a very long time. So we're happy to get dig deep, talk about them, gab,
Yeah.
gush about everything as much as we can.
And we're fans too, right, Bill? Like, it's not like, well, we just work there and we're just punching the clock while these art pieces come in. I mean, as you've seen, some of them are just showstoppers, right? And everybody comes out of their office and we all kind of gather like, wow, the Boris piece, for example. There's a couple that are just stunners.
Yeah, that came from a lifelong Tarzan collection. That one is it definitely stops your eyes when you go past it. If anyone's seen it yet, there are reasons for that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh yeah.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah.
So, hey Sean, so how have you been keeping yourself busy? I feel like you haven't been on the last couple of Hake shows that I've done.
No, I'm slammed. I just don't have enough hours in the day in general. But I'm still a fan, obviously. So I follow. I can't as actively bid as I'd like to, but otherwise, I mean, I love the art that they're getting. So from a fan of Hake's, I love seeing it. As far as the why, I mean, it's a moving target all the time. It's always growing.
Mm-hmm.
Me and other collectors, we talk about it all the time, how the evolution of comic art, if it hasn't already gone mainstream, it seems to have all indicators that it will. And as soon as that happens, it's gonna open up the floodgates to a whole different breed of collector. And possibly a different price point too. So I'm trying to be as aggressive as I can to go out and get stuff and help people kind of capitalize on that while the market's growing and exploding the way it is. So there's always the counter argument is it's a bubble, and then I don't think it is. I think this stuff is one of a kind. I think we've got basically an IP factory between Marvel and DC where they just keep churning out this product. So it just keeps updating the IP over and over again. So I just think it's going to keep going. Up and up, and at the very least, it'll stay where it is. I just think that there's too much interest, and it's an American art form, so I just think it's here to stay.
Here. I'm with you. I've been preaching that for a while now, and it's finally interesting to see it actually happening now, where people are appreciating it for what they should, right, as an art form and something that deserves to be in a museum.
Agreed.
So we're finally seeing all that stuff happen. So,
well, speaking of which, we got two museum exhibits in Ohio right now. We got the Alex Ross exhibit down in Canton that actually just ended, and then we got Kosai, the Marvel exhibit. I mean, that's that in itself says something.
Yeah, I saw the Marvel exhibit. It's awesome.
As did I.
The boys did a great job on that one. I think it's impressive.
Yes, yeah, I got to meet Patrick along with Ben Saunders a couple weekends ago. They gave us the tour of the Marvel exhibit, and it was great. It was kind of cool hearing their perspective on the show and why the pieces they picked, and just some of the history behind some of the different stories related to the pieces and the publishers that even I hadn't heard. So it was pretty cool. It's nice to get that. Yeah, Patrick's a good guy.
No, it's fantastic. I love seeing the success, and hopefully I can get out of my cage and go down and see it before it ends. It's on my agenda here in late March, early April for sure.
You've got until the end of August.
Oh, good.
Did you get to the Alex Ross one though?
I did. I took the kid, and he made me rush through it a little more than I wanted to. He was like, "I want to go." But I loved it, so I was in my element for sure.
Cool. That one I didn't get to go to, and that was closer of the two.
Yeah,
so
seeing it.
Yeah, cool. Well, so why don't we look at some of the pieces that you guys picked? I'll let you kind of give me a set of the ones that you wanted to talk about, and I'm going to share the screen from your website, and then we'll just look at the piece in more detail, and we can talk about them as we do that. Let's see here. All right, so. First up is the Marvel Secret Wars page from issue 8. With a lot of buzz around that issue of late, as we all know.
Why?
I was going to say the same thing. I mean, a couple words to say. Next, I guess. No. Sean, please.
Well, Zach and Captain America, for me, obviously, I'm a huge fan. I think the man is an icon of 80s Marvel. Some of the best covers and my personal favorite covers of the era are Zek covers. Secret Wars is iconic for me, and actually it kind of ties into Hakes in general because it's that whole line. Now, as a kid in the 80s, there was, and it's in the grand scheme of things, it's not a big deal. But as a kid, when you go from Mego in the late 70s, and you can argue the Pocket Heroes in 1980, but for the most part, there was nothing for Marvel for 4 or 5 years. And when you're a little kid, when you're 5, 6, 7 years old, there's a drought there. Like, I don't really get to enjoy this. So it was Transformers and He-Man and other things like that, G.I. Joe. But then when Secret Wars came out, Superpowers on the other side of things, but especially me being a Marvel guy, Secret Wars was a very iconic event from multiple angles. I loved the comics. I loved the black costume. I loved the introduction of kind of crossing over everything about it was great. And then obviously with the Zek artwork, it was just a bonus. So I love this piece. I said earlier, I wish I'd started earlier. I wish I'd started when I was younger because this stuff has become untouchable. So kudos to whoever wins it. I think it's a fantastic piece. There's really nothing more to say about Secret Wars other than it is absolute blue chip Marvel art from the 80s.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't argue with you there. I mean, we were just looking at the Zek exhibit that was down at Ringling. Chuck Costas, who helped put that together, he also worked on the Marvel exhibit as well, set that up. And Zek's art is just phenomenal from that period. It's a shame he's not working in comics like as much as he was back in the 80s and early 90s, but anything from Secret Wars always has a special place in most collectors' hearts who were into Marvel back then. I mean, I was buying those off the newsstand myself, so I never, the story wasn't as apocalyptic and it didn't change my world, but as an event, it was one of the first cool event books for me that really kind of sucked me in and made me want to read them. So yeah, anything that you can pick up from Secret, from that series first run, is definitely something nice to have in your collection.
Yeah, I think you said it well right there, man. It was fun, whereas Crisis and definitely Watchmen and Dark Knight Returns, they were all darker, whereas this was more of a fun, which is perfect for 7, 8-year-old me. I loved it. So it holds a special place in my heart.
See, now we know you've dated yourself now.
34 indeed, sir.
But yeah, so as far as the auction goes, I mean, we usually, I think we've talked about this before, but describe the auction process, bidding process and everything, Kelly, as far as being registered. Assume anybody can register for the auctions, and there's no two-step process. It's just go in, register, and you
register, yes. And as long as you put a credit card on file, we don't have to use it, but you put it on file, then you can start bidding. Bidding would end. So the bidding ends Wednesday evening. That's March 16th for the original art portion, like you said. And the way it starts to end, if you want me to explain
yes, please.
The bidding rules for the end is 9 p.m. Eastern time is when the 20-minute clock starts. So anything that does not get a bid for 20 minutes after 9 p.m. will end. If they do get a bid after 9 p.m., the clock gets reset for 20 minutes with every bid. So you place a bid at 9:19, then you have 20 more minutes to do that. Another bid happens 20 more minutes. So if you get outbid, you get an email on your phone, you get an email at home. You always have 20 minutes to come back in to counteract that bid. So leaves you plenty of time. That's per item for the entire auction. That's how it ends. So to register is very easy. If you have any issues with any problems at all between now and then, try to get registered, before the evening of Wednesday in case there's any issues. Get a hold of us. We're there all day, all night until it's over. It just gets a little crazy. So yeah, get registered, get in there, and any questions, we're here. Tim's here. Heather's, Alex. We're all here to answer your questions.
You can't even bid by phone if you want to talk to a human being. We are going to be there.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you don't want to use the internet, you want to use the phone, you can get callbacks. I call you back. Even if it's 3 a.m. and people are still bidding, I will call you if you ask me to, and then we'll let you know. Then you can go back to sleep, and then 20 minutes later, I'll call you again if you're outbid. So, But yeah, we offer all the services to make sure that you are either high bidder or you've been outbid, so you can come back in.
What's the latest you ever had to stay?
Early on, it's gotten a little more streamlined since we changed the clock. I had been there until 3 or 4 in the morning before. Got there at 9, stayed until 3, and they let me get there half an hour later the following day. They gave me half an hour because I was there. No, I think I got the next day, whenever. But it's gotten a little more streamlined with the 20-minute clock. It's usually done around midnight. 1 in the morning is when it's done. But we don't complain if it keeps going. That just means people are bidding, but usually it calms down around 11 midnight, somewhere in there.
I'm gonna have to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, let's take a look at this famous funnies cover.
This is one of many, or one of a couple pieces of Buck Rogers original art pieces from the Gene Seeger collection. Gene Seeger, to give you a little bit of backstory on him, he basically since the 1930s, he started collecting when he was a child. Collected and amassed the most extensive Buck Rogers archive and collection, basically, period, ever, of the comic books. We have a very high grade run of the comic books in the auction, to original art, to all of the toys, all of the Migos. He pretty much had everything that you could imagine. He was there are some collectors, and then there are people who are archiving a character, and I've never seen in person in my life someone archive a character the way that he's done this. He has since passed, and his collection has come to us. This here is a very interesting cover, that it was almost not this cover. Frazetta had done all the famous funnies from 209 to 216. And 217 he had drawn, but it was denied. If anyone knows this story, it goes deep into it, and then it was a little too much for where they were going with famous funnies. So Frazetta, in his 20, I think he was 24, 25 at the time, was very young, went across the street to EC Comics, and Bill Gaines loved it, and with a very minor touch change to the character, it became the cover of Weird Science Fancy number 29. In that, they had to quickly, it doesn't seem like that quickly at all. They then had this cover in front of us by Mike Roy drawn, which I think is just a fantastic cover. Shows great characters, great scene. And this, I believe this has probably been in Gene's collection 30, 40 years. I don't think it's ever come to light, come to surface. It was in the collection. We were unpacking it, and the moment I saw it, I stopped and just ran right into research, and I couldn't be found for a little while, because I was really trying to narrow down everything I could about this cover, and yeah, it really is phenomenal in person. And this is actually one of a couple. I don't know if we can go back after I'm done with this one, but from what I understand, outside of the 1 or 2 Frazetta covers that have sold, I don't know of any other famous funnies covers of Buck Rogers of any kind that have ever sold, or even in the marketplace. I don't know if anyone else here can shine a light on that, but they're just most of them are recreation pieces. The content inside is all reprint, so you don't get a lot of famous funnies content. Most of them are reprints, so that's why the artwork is not very common. You don't find it.
Did Gene say where it came from? I imagine you didn't go to a Comic Con and pick it up from the artist. Like, that's
no. So Gene, I mean, he's no longer with us, so we can't ask him.
Sure.
No, this this piece. I mean, there's a great photograph of him surrounded by original art. Some pieces we have, some pieces we don't. It's surrounded by other toys. Actually, if you do me a favor, you can actually see this photograph. So if you get out of that image,
All right.
it's and go back on the left-hand side, you're going to see it says the Gene Sigurd Buck Rogers collection. Click on that. Actually, do me one more favor. It's not on this page. Go to the home page. It's a great early image of him. That's why if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see the Gene Seeger collection there. If you click on that, which has the Buck Rogers poster, it should show you, there he is. In the middle of that is just a great image of him surrounded by original art. And he must be 25, 30 there, maybe. He's been doing this a very long time. And some of the pieces in this picture we have in the auction now, some of them are one of a kind. So he's been seeking these pieces out from what Ted remembers as a child his entire life, from the beginning of Buck Rogers.
That's wild, man. We take the internet for granted. It makes us lazy collectors. I mean, he had to track this stuff down.
Yes. I was speaking to someone who is a very serious movie poster dealer and collector, and about Gene. He's like, oh yeah, I knew Gene because Gene had every single serial poster. Not to get too far off on a tangent, but he had every single serial poster for the Buck Rogers serial, including that one, which is one of the only examples known. Mm-hmm. And he was missing chapter 7, so he was calling this guy probably every 3 months, or who knows. I mean, it was the point when I was speaking to him, he said, oh, he would call me all the time looking for chapter 7, always looking for chapter 7, always trying to, because he didn't have it in his hole, and he didn't have that hole filled in his collection. So he was until the very end, because he had not realized that Gene had passed. So yeah, it's a lifelong collection. There's some other great dailies in this auction from him. There's other covers in this auction from him. So really, if you're into Buck Rogers and comic art history, check it out what he has, and also the immaculate copies of the Famous Funnies comics.
Yeah, I wanted to just add something onto what Kelly said there, which the entire collection is just in pristine condition. It's amazing the age of it and the loving care that this man took of everything that he collected. When you see it, it's almost like, wait, that can't be, from the 30s.
Yeah, I agree. He didn't have Itoyas or anything. Like, where's he going to store this back then? They weren't thinking archival back then from a collection.
There's a piece on the table there. It's a box piece on the table that looks to be brand new, and that picture might be from 1950. I'm going to guess, and it looks to be in the same condition that it was on that table. So he actually had it out and was able to put it away and keep it safe. And then it got to us, and then we opened it. It looked like it was just made yesterday. So yeah, he was a
caretaker of all things he collected.
That's impressive stewardship. He has my respect for sure.
Yeah, he really he took collecting and archiving
very seriously. Well, it even has he had even taken photographs of everything and made his own entries, and even the photographs and the entries are sealed in plastic and like almost like a documentary of his own collection, as it were.
Yeah,
it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, no, he's so that cover that came from his collection, it like that, and there's another Buck Rogers cover that's there. There are 2 other Buck Rogers covers that are there that haven't been to auction in a very long time. But that one, the Famous Funnies, that's just a great scene. That's whoever owns the Weird Science Fantasy 29 cover should have this on the wall, right next to it, saying what could have been and what happened, and you can just tell a great story. I think the 29 cover exists. I'm pretty sure it does. So yeah, that would be a great addition to his collection, or really anyone's cover collection. It's yeah.
Well, there were. I can tell you. I'll answer your question. I do see in our market data that there were 2 famous funnies covers that have sold in the past. The issues were 209 and 213, both by Frazetta.
Both by Frazetta. I knew those 2 Frazetta covers existed.
Yep.
But
Those are the only 2 that I see.
Yeah, the outside of Frazetta, there. I mean, I couldn't.
There's comment.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at my market data here. Jim
Oh yeah, I think that is what I knew. So Jim, if you're watching, here it is.
Complete your
Thanks,
collection.
Dino. Appreciate it.
Yes, Jim has an amazing collection for those who've not spent any time in his calf gallery.
Or his website or anywhere else. Yeah, if you've seen his calf gallery, it's
oh
yep.
Yeah, it's it's wallpaper for the soul. If you're an art,
kudos to you, Jim.
So yes, let's see here. What do we have next here? Let me close that there.
Sure. Go ahead.
And but yeah, that was a good story. I actually had read through that as well, and I didn't know the whole story, but this was one of the few pieces from on Hake that I was really curious about. So I did.
Yeah, he was one of Ted's. Really cool. He was one of Ted's Ted Hake's lifelong or career long, just historians in pop culture. I mean, he was noted in the pop culture guide. So yeah, it was. And Ted was talking. It was one of those collections where Ted was speaking with him about Gene was going to work with us, and it was his intention to sell with us, and he had passed, and his son knew that and carried it right on. So yeah. But we have Incredible Hulk here. I think I've spoken enough for the past 5 minutes. You can go ahead there, Sean or anyone.
Go for it, buddy.
We got some crackling microphone here, but
is that you, Bill, or is it me?
I think it might be Tim.
I'm thinking it might be Tim. I don't think he can hear us right now.
All right, well, I'll jump in. This is obviously This is a great cover. It's got a whole bunch of Avengers on it, which obviously is great. It's from the key emerging Copper Age era. It's fantastic. Now, obviously, the elephant in the room is that it's colored, which that in itself is a microcosm of the hobby. You find that from time to time for stuff that was colored back. I guess it was a thing back in I don't know if it was the early 90s or late 80s or all the above. But it's a fantastic published Marvel cover. I know if you really wanted to, I know that colors can be removed. Archivists, restoration guys can do that. But I'm not sure it would even need it. I mean, it's a great standalone cover by itself. I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, obviously I love it. I'm a big Milgram. His layouts, he had a lot of energy, a lot of dynamic style to his art. I think it's great.
This is what's the lineup? And this is Hannigan and Milgram, right? And
correct.
Yeah,
Milgram is the penciler or inker on this one.
Hannigan probably penciled it.
Okay. Right. Thank you. I mean, it has an incredible Avengers lineup. I mean, on the Hulk cover, and I just you keep looking around this cover, and more characters just appear. Even coming right from behind the right under Incredible Hulk's shorts. If that's the easiest way to put it.
It's down low.
Yeah, where else would Hawkeye be? All right.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, I think the lineup on this cover is phenomenal, timely, and it's a great cover.
I like the foreshortening. I mean, everything from Hulk's fist to the Wasp kind of appearing as larger than Iron Man because she's further ahead. Everything about it, it's well done. It's cool.
Yeah.
Very.
Now, Marcus asked, "Do we know who colored it?"
We do not know who colored it. It looks to be it's possibly done in-house. The information on this is unknown. We did ask Al, and he was unaware of that information. But It is colored in a way that is very, very close to the published piece. And it's a mystery to us why it was colored. It was colored. I mean, it's within close to the lines. So it's not common that covers are colored. We have two in this auction. We're going to talk about the other one after this one. Both
Yeah, that was
the
my question.
same
Do we
lineup.
know- Was this the original owner that picked it up, or is it traded hands?
It has moved around slightly. It's sort of it was a recent find, and the person who currently owns it does not know the backstory on why it was colored. But
Did you get a chance to ask Hannigan?
if anyone here has any luck with discussing that with Ed, please let me know. No.
I could shoot them an email. I do have access, so I could ask. I mean, because Ed colored a lot of his cover prelims that he would use and hand out to other artists. So, which was rather unique for anybody doing cover prelims. That was just part of his approach to doing things. I mean, it wouldn't make sense for him to color the original afterwards, but at the end of the day, you never know. He is one of the few people that I know of that did that as far as coloring the prelims.
So that does add a little more to the puzzle. So
Did you ask Bob Sharon? Because I know when it first came through, you had talked about that. I can't remember where that went to though.
I don't believe we did. No.
Okay.
I asked Al, but he didn't. He said that
Right.
it was possible that Ed might have colored it, but he couldn't speak to the authenticity of it, so he wouldn't comment.
Yeah, the colorist listed for the issue is Bob.
Yeah, we didn't get a hold of Bob. At the same time, like you said, it is colored, but this is it. This is the cover.
Yeah, you don't have a choice. Like, if you love the cover, that's all you get. It's the only one out there.
Right.
It's the cool thing about this hobby.
Yeah, you're not going to wait around for the cover to come up and
like you said, at least it's not like it's not faded and like it looks accurate. So at least it looks good.
And there's even the light tones are matched. It's anyway. I think it's this and the Spectacular are both great covers. So
I agree. We've run into this many times in the hobby too.
It does. It'll have a discount effect too. So that from a collector's standpoint, as a buyer, that makes you aggressive. So there's something to be said about that too.
All right, and this is the other one we were speaking of.
Yes.
Yeah. So essentially, this is just the monocle, right? As far as on the art itself, because everything else is on the overlay, correct?
No. The overlay is just the top.
The painting.
It's just the stat on the top is overlay. Everything else is art. It's all 100%. So.
Oh yeah, you can see the overlay line right there.
Yeah. So, and the overlay as well is colored.
Correct. So if the overlay was removed, I think the only thing on the actual artboard that's colored is the monocle, if I remember correctly.
The rest of it is very lightly skin tone colored.
There's a flesh tone to it. Okay.
There's a flesh tone.
That's kind of what I was asking.
To it.
Thank you. All right.
Yes. Sorry, I got you now.
No, that's my bad. It was a terrible question. It was not properly.
There's never such thing as a terrible question. Anyway, Sean, continue.
No, I mean, obviously, this is Hannigan as well. So I'm going to assume that at some point in time back in the 80s, they were painted at the same similar time frame.
I would say
on the same table at the same show in 1987, and someone picked it up. It's even possible that they picked it up at Hannigan, or is this Milgram Inks too? Who inked this?
Yeah,
Same.
It's the same team.
So
Yeah,
it's possible. When you talk to Al, did he say that he owned it at one point? Because obviously some stuff goes to the pencilers, and then a small.
He did not. No, he did not. Yeah.
So they either picked it up at Ed's table or Al's table, and then walked it over possibly to Bob Sharon or whoever it was. But if it was Ed that colored it, I mean, it seems to me, just based on the fact that the eras for the painting looks similar to me, the aging look, the patina looks similar. I'd say that they were probably picked up at the same time frame.
They were both found together. So I can say that. So they've been together. This from whatever the story was before they were found together. They were together. So they've been together probably since they were colored or before, but we'll never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they in their own way, they're fresh to the market. They have not been. This is not something that's been shot before. So
I dig it, man. I can't get enough of 70s, 80s, and 90s Marvel. So
right.
any cover that comes to market at all is a win. It's just getting to the point where they're so coveted, you just don't see them. So I'm excited to see it go. I wish it was going to me.
There's still time.
You can register at hakes.com. So make sure you put a valid credit card on file, and you should be good to go.
Yeah, there it is without the overlay, just in case. Yeah. But no, very good. And I will shoot the Hannigans an email and just see if I can't get you some Hannigans. Or can't promise, but you never know.
Yeah. I appreciate that. You might shine some light, and then we'll spread the news from the rooftop of what has been found out.
All right. I know that the Hannigans did sell most of their covers early because they felt that was like they're going to get money quicker when they were selling it on their own, and so the covers went first because he still has a lot of his originals from from many of the titles he worked on, but he got rid of the covers early on. So now we're switching gears a little bit. Boris Vallejo, little not work safe for some of you if you've got your kids watching, but it's all right.
Yeah, we weren't sure if you could. We weren't sure if you were going to be able to display this or not. So I'm glad it's.
I might not zoom in on this one, but no.
Actually,
Boris
I'm having a little trouble seeing it from here. If you can make it a little bit. This is the Green Princess, Boris Vallejo. This came from a Tarzan collector with a very convincing Tarzan-looking character. Now, from what we could tell, that the license was not actually given, but if you were to ask me from across the room, that's Tarzan, and it came from a serious Tarzan collector who we knew, but it was the first thing I saw when I went to the house, and it really is beyond impressive in person. It ended up being a print. From 1974, I believe that it was printed and sold, limited to about 1,500. But that's a beautiful Boris oil painting. That just, it really does speak for itself. So it's a showstopper. Definitely not for your local library, but it would go on many different walls. So,
no, it's a great image. Boris is one of my favorite painters.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Anybody?
Yeah, for real.
And he's super active, and he's still painting to this day. I mean, he's a master. I mean,
it's a wonderful comment. The most recent comment is really great. Thank you.
Thanks, Fish. Good looking out, buddy.
That's it.
I agree.
Topless. Yeah.
Oh, Fish.
The H.G. Peter effect on the skirt there. I agree.
Oh, see, that's why I didn't zoom in. I didn't catch that.
It's early cosplay.
Yes.
17.
Yes. Well, it's like she's halfway there.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I'm curious. So when you guys have the auction started, are you able to kind of track which auction lots are gaining, they're garnering the most views, visits? I mean, are you able to kind of develop your own kind of?
We watch those numbers. Tim and I watch the analytics like a hawk.
Yeah.
You can't give us enough data, honestly. We want to know as much information as we can. Where I love knowing what countries people are visiting the site from. I love knowing how long they're staying. I love to know how many clicks each lot is getting. So all of that information is fascinating. And Tim, who's been doing the daunting task of social media that I don't which is an ever evolving, adapting machine. He's been watching all. I mean, anyway, he's been doing all of that and watching it and posting and even through that, you can see what grabs people and how and why. This particular piece, speaking of social media, we have not been able to share too much.
Yeah, this one was kind of a challenge, right? Because there was only. I'll just make a quick comment about that. You know, obviously a piece this beautiful, man. The textures, the lighting, you want to try and get that across to any potential bidders. But obviously you got some challenges, right? Facebook isn't going to work for this one. Probably not Instagram either. So you got a couple of choices, right? Do you want to censor part of the image out? Well, no, right? That actually makes it look worse for some reason. So what we did for just a few of the advertising teases is just a selection where he's sort of trimmed around the Tarzan-esque character, because of course you run the risk of, you know, getting red flagged, and that, you know, who knows what they might do, you know, pull the rest of the post down for the day or something. I was a little bit paranoid about it. So, but
yeah, no, what you did was a great choice. It just it showcased him and gave enough of a tease. Sometimes a tease is all you need to get the eyes on the piece. And I mean, the comic art fans, speaking of that for original art has been a great social media. I mean, if you want to call it social media push, and it is social media push to our site. And this is on there prominent. There's no issue. It is art. I mean, in my mind, this is art before it's, you know, nudity, however you want to put it, but it's a gorgeous piece of art that has had a lot of click-throughs and a lot of attention on thank you, Todd.
Just say Todd's taking credit for that one.
Yes, Todd, thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
Yeah, and that's one place where we can you know, showcase this art without any issue, and that's original art. That is a great way of previewing and reaching people that you know that are into Boris or into other artists, or, you know, the Buck Rogers, anything else we've shown. You know, to you, Bill, it's a great tool. Thank you for having it.
I'm a huge fan of science fiction, fantasy, illustration art, and I always get that question every once in a while: is this art really appropriate for CAF? And to me, you know, if it falls within those genres, horror as well. I mean, I want to see it on CAF. I wish if I hadn't called it comicartfans.com, people wouldn't ask that question, because then they just see it all as art. But I love having many genres of art on CAF. So you know, I welcome it. I mean, you look at my back wall, it's more fantasy and science fiction art back there, Sasquatch footprint, you know, more stuff like that than comic art, although you know, I love it all. So yes, I'm happy that CAF can be the melting pot for all pop culture artworks. So so kind of moving right into that, then we've got this great Vampirella piece by Enric.
Yeah, it's a solid segue, man. You walked right into that one. It's good.
Yeah.
It's actually that's where my brain went as soon as you brought this picture up. When I was working with Mike years ago at his booth, I came from a background, I was strictly superhero nerd. So when I would see other types of art, the sword and sorcery type stuff or Vampirella, I was stunned at the amount of people that would come to him and say, hey, you got a Vampirella piece? And it was a very, very hot topic amongst the collectors at New York when they were going to the show. I couldn't believe it. It was at least once an hour. Hey, you got this like they were asking for it all the time, way more than Spider-Man and anything else. It was just a constant question.
Well, Mike's had a lot of Enric. This is a great one, though.
Yeah, this is larger than life. That is, and yeah, the background, that's true. I was just thinking that, like, you keep obviously she steals the show of this painting, but then, you know, the background, she pops right out of that, and those bats are just
it's really, it's almost like a little bit of a 3D effect, the way the bats are rendered. That really comes to the forefront.
Yeah, the bats are horrifying and beautiful at the same time, and she's gorgeous, and that's a piece ready for the wall, and it is large and in charge as she is.
Right.
Yeah, that background as like a the mist has a portal effect on the mountains.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you can almost, well, if you wish, but you can almost walk into the painting. But yeah, no,
You won't last long if you get there, but
no, you probably wouldn't resist. You wouldn't know what's going on. But yeah, right. No, that's another example. We had a couple examples in the last auction. This one is just
that's right. Yeah, you did.
this one falls right in line with that, and it's yeah, it's gorgeous.
No, I don't think you're going to get arguments from anyone here. But yeah, no, it's fantastic. What was the size on that one? Let's see.
The very beginning. I can't.
Oh yeah, got it. Wow. So that's like 40 by 60. That's pretty crazy. That's great.
Yeah.
40 by 60. Wow. Actually, another good segue. How big is this comparatively?
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of large and in charge,
Large and in charge.
Yep, 35 by 52.
Wow. So this is the Vampirella is even bigger than this one. This one's as big as the original artist that drew the original cover almost.
Yeah, it's almost like she's almost life size. Really, she is. Yeah.
I love Matt's work. Matthew does his stuff is incredible. I love seeing the fandom kind of the cult following he gets. It's fantastic, well deserved.
Yeah, they've really embraced it, right? And
it's awesome.
I'll tell you, it impresses me, and I'll tell you the reason why, because it's a little bit different than conventional artwork. This is one of these things that if it was described to you, you'd be like, wait, what? Like it probably wouldn't quite ring true. What do you mean? It's a shattered mosaic made from broken tiles. But then when you see it, you're like, oh my gosh, these pieces are commanding. Like if you had like an office building and just wanted something to really, right in the lobby to knock everybody's socks off when they came in, this would be a perfect piece for that.
I agree.
And yeah, David, this is I think we did this like 3 weeks ago, right, Tim?
Yes,
sir. Yeah, we had Matt on the show, and he shared with us a little bit of his process, which is really interesting as well. It's a very laborious and time-consuming process, right down to the, it's custom color on the tile, which are all hand-selected, and then of course there's the filing and the trimming, and making sure the edges are perfect. It's something when you see it in person, it's astounding.
Stanley wants to know how difficult it is to ship some of this stuff.
It's incredible.
This particular piece would be, I believe it's is this about 75 pounds?
It's closer to 80, I thought.
Yeah, so it's it takes special care to ship. So probably a freight service would be needed to ship this.
How much will that add to the overall cost?
Depending on where you are. If you're within a couple states of Pennsylvania, I'd say we should discuss other alternatives. There's a great image for scale.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And I neglected to mention the upper frame is signed by Steranko in a bold signature.
Yeah, there he is. I think there's even pictures of him signing it coming up. Is that right? Yeah. Excellent. Sort of.
Oh, here you go. Yep.
There he goes. Yeah. That's for authenticity.
And it has the original published Marie Severin face rather than the Steranko face. So it's kind of a mixture of both. It's cool. He captured the likeness of both. Awesome. It's fantastic.
Yeah. That thing it really is great.
I agree. That's pretty cool. And yeah, seeing you made that comment about Jim's stature, Sean. So you can see the Vampirella probably would be taller.
Yeah, I can't believe that Vampirella is that large because these are massive. And also at 90 pounds, don't hang it with 3M strips, everybody.
At least use 4. That'll probably do it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's the. It'll take some serious work to get it on the wall, but it's worth every battle to get it up there. Yeah, pun intended. But
yeah.
Very nice. All right. Okay, so over to the Metamorpho 7. Let's get this thing here.
I love the character, Ramona.
Oh yeah, who doesn't?
This is a Trapani, Sal Trapani cover, but I love the character. I always have. I love large art covers. There's just something special about them. Everything about it's fantastic. I love the era. The image is super cool. I like any comic art that has the multiple characters showing movement. Flash does it a lot. A lot of junior Spidey battle pages show that. Even Romita Seniors. I love that when they do that. It's kind of one of my favorite things in the art form.
Nice bold blacks on that one too.
Yeah.
Who inked this?
Oh man, help me out here.
Charles Paris.
Charles Paris.
Wow, old Batman artist Charles Paris, huh?
Yeah,
And
not
Bill,
bad.
maybe you can help us out here. I was doing a decent amount of research. I could not find any other sales or known Metamorpho covers. It was a very short run, but it just does. They do not come up that I was able to find.
And actually, yeah, that's I don't know if some of the guys that were collecting back in the 80s and 90s. I mean, I never seen, but you don't see DC, you don't see large art covers from either publisher, period. They just don't pop up very often.
No, and there are no other sales in the market data that I've got access to, and that covers a lot. So yeah, I don't believe so.
Yeah, probably Black Bolt for
there's
4 years.
what was it? 17 issues, if I'm not mistaken. That was 17 issues.
17.
So this is one of 17 of this title that even exists. So if you're a fan, step up. This is not only was I not able to find any others for sale, it's not. And I searched CAF to see if anyone had any in their galleries. I couldn't. I mean, I'm sure there are many private collections out there, but I couldn't find any others. So
I'm going to look around, but yeah, I think you're right. No, it is absolutely beautiful. I mean, I really.
Oh yeah. Besides that, it's a great example.
Looks like an AIM helmet that driver's wearing, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, is he in yellow? I guess he's in white.
There you go.
Not yellow.
They got away with it then.
And are the stats original, or are they?
Yes.
They are okay.
Mm-hmm. I think a couple, maybe very small, minor stats may have fallen off. I think we may have the issue number may have gone to the wayside, but besides that, it's untouched, all original.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a beauty. Really, really nice.
I love that era of the checked.
Oh yeah, true.
At the top of the.
Yeah, I wonder what the marketing thought was on putting that up there. I mean, it catches your eye.
Yeah, there had to be
maybe.
I was told I think it was because it stuck out of the top of a spinner rack.
I was going to say that. Yeah,
that would make sense to me as well.
It would set you apart from all the Marvel titles at the time, and any other titles. It would be like just yep.
Oh,
how long did that last?
6 years, something like that. Sean, do you know?
I don't actually know.
It was less than 10. I know that.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's why
really nice.
That's why I love just the whole process of it, the production art, the lettering, all of it. Just there's thought going into all of those aspects. That's why I'm a color guide fan too. The whole production thing fascinates me. Mm-hmm. You know, somebody was talking in a boardroom, talking in an editor's meeting about how we need to make this stand out.
Right.
Yeah,
it's a great image. Oh man. Oh, now this was what do we got here? The Infantino Flash pieces. So I'm just going to go to a couple of these here.
You can click on the first one and then you can just go down the line.
Yep. Let me go here. Zoom in on that.
I think this is the final page.
Yeah, this is the final page. Yeah, this is really nice.
Sean Rutan, give us your knowledge.
Now, was this in the published book? Was this an ad at the bottom of it, or a letters page? Mm-hmm. Wasn't an ad?
I believe, yeah.
I love Gil Kane on Atom and Green Lantern, and I love Infantino even more on Flash. He created the character. He kind of defined the visual look of DC, not just DC, but just kind of the 60s vibe in general. I every time I see, and plus it's twice up, and it's striking to see that art every time I get a chance to see it. I love his work, and it's now obviously he's an icon, and I read him as a kid in the '80s, but it just wasn't quite the same. He worked better. His prime was on Twice Up art, in my opinion. I loved it. It's gorgeous.
Well, stylistically, he was very different. Yeah,
Agreed.
Earlier to later, but no, this is a really beautiful piece.
Let's see.
It's really well inked. Oh, and inks by Joe Giella. Okay, that's what I wanted to check over here.
Yeah,
that's what I was looking at too.
Yeah, he's amazing. So
still going strong too, and one of the nicest human beings I've ever encountered. The guy's gold.
I have not gotten the opportunity to meet him.
He's fantastic. He really just down to earth, super engaging, fascinating. Because his career is just. He worked for Timely back in the '40s. Like he's been around forever, and he can talk about all of it. It's I love listening to all his stories, and his artwork's fantastic. Obviously, iconic.
This is a great page.
That's what I was just going to say.
This is a great page.
Yeah, it really is. It has that post-atomic DC vibe to it. It's great.
Yeah, I love the the line work is so fine. Same with that, on the previous page too. It's just really, really beautiful approach to inking.
Someone said tip top page. This is tip top.
This is 4 clean, fun panels. This is, really nice.
David is asking if the 3 of you have calf galleries.
I do. I haven't updated in many years.
I know. I was say Sean's had one for a while, but yeah, I don't think you. I was going to just say that. But
no, I do not. Sean does. Yeah.
I'll start one, Bill. I'm an art collector too. I haven't got into that with you, but I'll explain that later.
Okay.
Do it, Tim.
You can count on me.
You got to jump in. Let's get up here. Yeah, these are just great.
I like that one too. The expressions, like Sean was saying earlier, that 60s vibe, it's very clear in these pages. It's so cool.
Yep. And the inks were lush back then. I love it.
Keep in mind these are all twice up, and that's that's really does sell it. That's beautiful.
So is typically, do you guys keep everything under lock and key? I remember sometimes you've had the art that you were in the current auctions, like on the back wall of,
When I'm at the office, I'll do that. I'm at home right now, so it's everything's under lock and key all the time, always. Yeah.
We'll take them to shows. You got to be like an armored car guard and have it handcuffed to your wrist when you're walking around the show.
That is correct. That is correct. Yes. Yep. Oh man.
A lot of times that's me because I'm the guy who doesn't necessarily go out or anything at the convention. So if the scenario is that somebody's heading back to the room to stand guard with the item.
It's one minor story with that. Tim, we were at the Baltimore Comic-Con and we had the Captain America prop shield there.
Oh, yeah.
And Tim was staying at a hotel down there. And all the security for the Baltimore Con, our own security, and some other people were helping us, watch the piece. And all of a sudden, it was Tim was going back to the hotel room, and 18 different people, security people, swarmed him, and basically it was the craziest thing I've seen.
It was pretty fun.
And it was, and he was followed by an entourage with probably, I would say, with an extreme amount of firepower. But I'm sure he felt very safe. But is this the first? Is this the earliest page in the? Is this the first page in the story?
Yeah, it's the story. Header.
Yeah.
It's the Bill winner, isn't it? That one's got to be leading the way. That one's something special.
Yep.
Yeah, those are all great.
No, very well
Yeah,
done. I
that's a
like that
great
last
one,
panel.
too, yeah.
Cool thing about Flash too, and kudos to Infantino and the team. I think it was John Broome. Was it John Broome created? Now, hopefully I'm right. But anyways, the creative team that created it, same thing that you hear about Spidey and Batman is the rogues gallery kind of makes the character. Flash's rogues gallery was awesome.
Yeah, he had the best one.
Yeah, it was great.
A lot of people feel that way.
No, this is just the beginning. There's a beyond impressive selection of Kurt Swan action to Superman pages and one full story included with that in this auction. Great splashes and interior pages throughout. It's just there's, I mean, as you can see there, there's actually 2 pages. That's only part of it. There's a lot of great. If you're a Kurt Swan Superman fan,
Yeah, they're killer, man. You got some solid Superman panels. You got some great
Yeah.
Clark Kent panels.
right.
There you go.
Yeah, look at that.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a great
Amazos. That's,
page 1.
Yeah, or Amazos, big right there. That's funny.
Big breakthrough. Yeah, it's a great page 1 splash.
Yeah, I always keep telling myself I need to get some Kurt Swan in my collection. I have yet to fulfill that wish.
I tell you, I love the one with it's the second panel says Superman's scalp. It's got the Legion of Doom Challenge of the Super Friends style Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
I
yeah.
love it. And granted, I love the splash pages, obviously, but for of my generation, that costume design, again, the Mego pocket style of Lex Luthor, I love that page. And like you said, Bill, everyone's got to have a Swan Superman in their collection. It's iconic. You kind of define the look of the character for the latter half of the 20th
Right.
century.
Yeah, I mean, and even today, the pages are still obtainable. I mean, there's so much of it out there.
Yeah, he was prolific.
Yeah.
What's that, Scott? Amazos, Amazon.
I mean, Amazon plus Bezos. I know it threw me off, but the apostrophe then made it even harder for me.
Yeah.
Actually,
Thanks.
so it's
Thanks,
Amazo. It's Amazos. Okay, yeah, I gave up. That's why I passed that.
Scott.
But yeah, no, these are fantastic. Let's look at a couple more of these.
And it's cool if you saw the secretary there. It shows the evolution of the era too. She was very much early 70s Mary Tyler Moore style to her compared to the Infantino Giella Flash.
This is one of my favorite pages.
Yeah, me too, Kelly. It's this one. You got a little bit more of a cosmic flavor.
Yeah. And they're all signed. And then side note, they are all signed by Kurt, which I think is great. This one's just I love anything with the dark black background. That usually goes into space scenes and sci-fi scenes. This is just a really great page.
It's Coletta inks, huh? It's if you look at that second to last panel, the way he silhouetted Superman, just to kind of make him pop, kind of a cool effect he did there. I'm sure it looked cool in the published page.
Cool.
That's one. Agree with the eyeball. Yeah, that is it. I agree, Todd. But yep. Now, so every time I see Swan's work, I really got to take care of that. Get something in my collection.
There's a couple options. There's a couple options here in the auction currently, Bill. If you're thinking about it, you know.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are great. And everybody knows I'm a Marvel guy, but you got to have a good example from every.
Well, this is where it all started, this character. So
Let's take one last look here at this one.
Yeah, Derek's right. That is Barbara Gordon in that page we were showing. If you happen to be a Barbara Gordon collector, that is who that was in that page.
Yes, Derek, right. Not a Secretary Sean.
Silly me.
It's okay. We'll let it slide. This is a great page too. Gee, there's so
It
many.
is.
This is There's a lot to choose from. This is a great page.
And this is the character that was sort of loosely based on. He has kind of like that Zardoz look.
I was gonna
if
say
you guys-
Sean. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sean Connery.
The worst Sean Connery costume ever character. Yes.
Or was it the best?
That alone makes it super cool. I agree. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's a great page. Last panel is awesome. Love it. All right, moving a little over here. Let's see, Wally Wood.
Wally Wood on a DC spoof cover.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah, right.
Tops. This is just
man. Yeah,
everything
that's
about it is
nice.
great.
Wow.
I know, right? I like Green Lantern breaking the egg.
Actually, yeah, I was gonna say, you got the Atom at the bottom there. The match. He does a lot with the it's there's not a lot as far as the overall content, but he does a ton with it, making it work.
Yeah,
That's
no,
great.
this is too funny. Everybody picks on Superman.
This is a pretty good question from Christopher Daly.
Yeah, I'm reading that.
Yep,
Yeah, that
yep.
might-
I was just. He's asking if you have any concerns about releasing that many Swan pages in the same auction.
I think the market is very strong. I've seen more than this of different artists or characters I think the market could definitely handle what's here. There's stuff to choose from, and there are people that just like Bill said, enough for everyone to choose from. So yeah, I think it's a good
Yeah.
time, strong market.
Sure. I mean, we see that a lot. I mean, I did an auction preview recently with somebody who had a lot of buckler pieces, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you're getting consignments from particular collectors who either are collecting stories or characters, or they like a particular artist, and you're not always going to spread those out months, separate them by months. It's sometimes easier to put them all together, attract all the collectors at one time, I imagine.
Yeah, there's affordable pages, and then there's there's a little more higher end splash pages, but nothing that's yeah, exactly. It's a great range of
Yeah.
pages. Exactly. Yeah, it is. There might be a page with a secretary, right? Or right,
I don't know what you're talking
but
Sean's never going to live that one down. I'm not a DC guy, so I would not have
I saw
known
it
that
at
was
tail
Harper
end
Gordon.
too. So
you
yeah.
put a woman in a '60s panel, and then all of a sudden she's a no.
Oh,
But no. Yeah, it is a great range of pages. There's it's a spattering of books. There's some action comics and also Superman comics. So I think it's a great selection. But this one here, I think if you are looking for Wally Wood DC, it's gonna be pretty hard to find. So this is great. I just think this is a great cover. It's hilarious. It's a conversation piece if it's on the wall. So I think it's thank you, Tops, for letting this happen.
I love how Superman's cape is a $sign too.
Yeah. That's the little things about this
Yeah,
piece
it's those
that'll keep
How
you
much,
loving
how
it.
much DC art did he do? I wonder. It's the same thing with there's a Don Newton Daredevil page in this auction, which is crazy to see. It's just
Mhm.
I love
There's
it when you see a
not-
guy
I mean-
you associate with one publisher doing something for somebody else that you wouldn't expect.
This could be. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. This could be one of the very very few, or if only the only piece that it's that he could have done. And this is a DC spoof, which is great. Very similar to the Frazetta Superman piece that we sold. It was the only the only comic book character and DC character that Frazetta did. This is more or less what it's like for Wally Wood, but I could be wrong. But there are not many, if very few DC pieces done by Wally.
Now, since Hake's is good about cross marketing and having other products, how often does the mini comic come up to market? I can't imagine that's easy to find either.
Probably not. No, I don't. You don't see them. You can even get that. I believe you can get that graded as well if you'd like. So yeah, then it doesn't come up. Yeah, it's a cool
Very,
piece.
very nice. And well, $2,400 so far. All right. And what's the size on that one? Offered here 6 by almost 7.5.
It's a smaller piece. It's much bigger than the actual mini comic, but it's
Uh-huh.
it's a smaller cover.
Nothing wrong with that.
I like variety in the collection.
Exactly. And so here we've got a Tarzan by Joe Josko.
Man, between this and the Boris page, I'm going to have to go do some sit-ups. You guys give me a complex.
Yeah, they gave him some. Well, he has to compete with actual apes. So until you have to do that, I think you're doing just fine. This is a great piece of card art by Joe, and it's it pop. I love color art. I love black and white art. They all have their own place, but I think this one just pops.
Yeah, great
Great
lighting.
background.
Yeah, great color effects.
Hmm. Yeah.
Well, Joe's a fantastic painter.
Thank you, Frank Robert. Would your mini comic book for DC starting with Captain Action? Thank you.
Yeah, I think we went on Captain Action, but I like, again, my brain always goes superhero because that's my default setting. So I can't associate them with the JLA cast and crew.
Well, and I guess
And
I see
Timothy.
Marcus there.
And Timothy said the same thing. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Ilya.
Yeah, it's good
Ilya
looking
as
out.
well.
Ilya as
Look at my
well.
wealth of knowledge.
Yeah,
in the-
I highlighted the wrong one, but there you go. She's
Yeah.
the
Yeah. No,
all-star
that's why we.
JSA.
yeah. Oh, yeah, he created Power Go, didn't he?
There you go.
Curious about that. I can't remember.
I am a DC neophyte.
Yeah. It just takes to say a little bit of the not wrong information, but questionable, and then people will be glad to tell you, which is all great.
Jumping in,
Great way
no.
to learn.
A wealth of
Oh, no,
knowledge. It's great.
Our audience usually corrects every mistake that we make on any
No, it's
show.
fantastic.
It's all right. No, I that's why we're here. We're always here to learn.
So there you go, Sean. You need to use like an Ab Master or whatever they have out there. There might be a protein shake you can take for this, but no, Joe. I mean, he's man. I mean, Joe's just he's been around for so long, and his paintings just to me they keep getting better and better. I mean, I've known him for a long time. I've done some web work for him in the past, but he's just an amazing guy and incredibly talented. And he's getting a lot of sorry, close the window on there. He's just he's just amazing. Those Marvel corner box things he did were superb. It's like anything that he tackles. He's redoing the Tarzan covers. I mean, every single project he takes on, he seems to just hit out of the park. I mean, he's just an amazing guy. Totally, very funny and friendly. And I'm fortunate to have met him and talked with him many times. But this is a good one.
Yeah, I don't even know how to articulate like how it feels. And I look at it, it looks hyper realistic, but also like cartoonish, like at the same time. It's super cool.
Mhm.
I don't know how he got that effect, but it's amazing.
Yeah, he did a great job. It's his ability to capture the realistic man, but still have the colors of a over real, like not over realistic, but just a over dramatic, over contrast colors that just gives it that back and forth. Yeah, it's great.
He looked in the mirror. Best comment.
Yeah.
The best comments do come from Marcus. Oh man. But no, I see the three apes. I was kind of thinking they were going to have their hands over their ears and mouth and eyes, but they're all happy. They're cheering for him.
I love
Thanks
Carter
again,
too,
Timothy,
by the way.
for the Wally Wood DC lesson. Appreciate it.
All right, now we're swinging back to Marvel. I know a little bit about Marvel, so we got a Sal Buscema page here from Marvel Team Up, issue 46. Let's see. Inks by Esposito. Okay. Very interesting. Let's see. Let me get this thing here. There we go.
Man, that's good.
Is this going to make it into? Is this a birthday gift for yourself, Sean? Is this something that's going to make it into your collection?
Nah, I'll lose. All this good stuff. I can't. Kid in the candy store having asked mom for quarters.
Bitcoin. It's these days. You ask mom for Bitcoin.
I need to ask mom for Bitcoin in 2015, man.
This is a great page, a great panel. This says Sean Rutan all over it. I'm gonna let you.
It really does, and you don't get enough Deathlock out there either, right, Sean? I mean,
well, you know, and that's the cool thing. It's what I like about the team up books is that it was like, for me, I was always an Avengers fan because it was a mixture of characters. Same thing when I talked about Secret Wars earlier. I just love the mixture of characters. And Deathlock, like you said, he's not someone that you would see all the time making a crossover appearance. So it's great. I don't know, what more can you say about this? Like the first panel, it screams Marvel Bronze Age. And then the last panel, it's coming out at you. It's got a lot of dynamic energy to it. It's fantastic. I love it.
Hey, Marvin's in the audience. He's letting everybody know what a big Spidey fan you are.
Yeah, thanks, Marv. Yeah. I love Spidey. He loves Cap. Great characters right there.
Quite true. I actually picked up a page by Sal myself today when I was over.
Oh, very nice.
What is it?
Congratulations.
You want to see?
Yeah,
Yes.
Always.
of course.
I was going to save it for my Thursday show, but I'll show them here. Let's see. I'll take it out of the bag since I get complaints when I don't do that. This is a page from Rom issue 32.
Rom.
I love Rom.
Yeah,
There you go.
nice.
Early Rogue, Mystique, you know. So, but you know it's Sal when you look at it, just like with the Marvel Team Up page you guys have got.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've actually had never owned anything by Sal before, so I was really happy to dig this out of Mike's one of his bins and pick it up. And I even picked up a let me show you one other one real quick here. Frank Springer piece. Never owned anything by Frank either, but I had always wanted to get. That's my I'm on a mission to getting, you know, at least examples from every artist that I always liked. And so this is a Frank Springer, and it's a Dazzler page 9 or issue 9, and I didn't check the page number, but it's got Dazzler and she's just hanging out, but you know, he draws a nice Dazzler, of course, and you got the Claw in there as well. He's you know,
They're asking you to give us a little full screen action there, Bill.
Goodness gracious. See, I'm not looking at the chat here. Okay, here we go. I'll figure out better.
There
How's that? All right.
Hey
All right.
there.
Now you can see how
That's
Yes.
There you go. I'll show you the other one full screen next. I'm sorry, everybody. I wasn't looking at the chat. But so yeah, let's see, page 16, issue 9, right there. And then the other one, the ROM. There's one more there. This, it'll look a lot better when I show it to you like this. There you go. Look at that. But yeah, my first Sal and my first Springer piece. So
Marcus is reading my mind. There you go, Marcus. Thank you.
What did Marcus say? Thanks. Yes. Okay. Thanks for that.
Yeah, you only had it for what, like 6 hours, and all of a sudden
I don't even think it's been 6 hours. I think I finished that deal with Mike right around 6:30 today, so about not even 4 hours ago. So no, these are staying with me until I'd find a better example of either artist. So thank you very much, Mikhail and David. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing like adding, you know, the day you get to add a piece of art to your collection. Doesn't matter who it's by or where it's from. It's a joyous day. So I'm really happy to have these two pieces in my collection.
Yeah, that's the curse of the hobby, man. You get one thing, you want more.
Exactly. Thank you very much. But again, this is a great page and a great piece by Sal. Obviously, I mean, I look at those character faces. I mean, faces in a crowd. You can always tell when Sal was drawing them. I mean, they all they just have that distinct look. I don't know is it the eyes? I don't know, but Sal's definitely one of my favorites. So nice page, and again, Deathlock. You don't get too many pages with Deathlock on them either. Let's see here. Let me close that. Not closing for me. Go over to here then. All right, so we got a John Byrne page here now from what do we got? Avengers 189.
Some Hawkeye.
Yeah. A very relaxed, but very awesome Hawkeye panel on the bottom.
That
of
last
page.
panel's great.
Yeah, it really
Very
is great.
relaxed. You can just see the attitude kind of
Yeah,
coming off the page there.
exactly, the attitude.
Yep.
That's Byrne's prime era too. Dan Green inks too, which is nice. I don't usually associate Green as a Byrne inker. It's kind of cool to see the combo.
I mean, Green inked him a bit, right? I think
a little bit here and there. Yeah,
Marvel Team Up maybe too. I could be wrong, but it's all around that's this period here. But yeah, really, really nice piece with I don't know, nobody draws machinery quite like Byrne. I mean, Perez has his style, Byrne has his, very distinct. But no, this is a decent page for somebody who's looking for a good Byrne page that they can afford. Yeah, this would be the one to go for. I don't think I have one from 189. No, I don't own it anymore. But I have owned a Byrne Avengers page once, and right around this issue. But yeah, great.
It's cool that he signed it right underneath the main hero image too.
Mm-hmm.
He's got
not in the art, right?
Yeah, exactly. Not right on his face. Yep.
Where is that? There we go. But no, good. Cross Tech. What do we got on that one? $1,800 with 2 days to go. Let's see here.
Yeah, we've reached a point where $1,800 is a bargain in the art world when it comes to Marvel stuff from the 80s.
Yes, you could say that about the 90s too. In some.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know. I mean, I don't know how anybody who's pricing artwork today can keep up with having to update the prices on their artwork. If it's not selling because the prices are changing so often. It's just I don't know. I don't know how anybody who has to maintain an inventory and then try to show off prices. I mean, you guys as auction houses have it made. The everyone who's there defines what the price is going to be. It's easy, but the way the market's, I mean, in many cases, I think we've seen over the last couple of years. I mean, everything's gone up 3, 4, 5 times,
or more.
If it's or more.
Yeah.
It's been a very interesting couple of years, but
I as a buyer and as a fan of Hake's, I hope that and it kind of goes back to the Swan question from earlier. I hope that there's still something that slips through the cracks and someone gets a nice deal as a buyer, because then it keeps the buyers coming back and it keeps the consigners happy because they have a good buying pool. So I want everybody to win here.
That's true. Well, everybody's, it's an interesting market for the people who are willing to take make the effort and dig to find those gems out there that might go a little bit unnoticed. But this is, Perez is obviously in the news. He's on everybody's mind because of his health issues today, and I think it's true. I mean, I've tried looking for a few Perez pieces as well, and a lot of them just they're gone. They're not. The pieces that are coming up on the market are doing really well, and these early pieces. There are pieces like this, the Creatures on the Loose one. That it's not gonna. It's something I think that it's early enough and it's from a period of his that it should still be a piece that somebody can afford and get in their collection and be happy to have a good representative piece from George here. So, yeah, and he did look. I like where he signed it as well.
I was going to say that actually. That was a clever.
Yeah, I agreed. It's kind of
place.
a little touch there. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all thinking about you, George. It's a great page.
Yeah, that's George is a great guy. He and I, we've had lunch together before, thanks to Hero Initiative, and had lots of great conversations with him. And he's just a fantastic gentleman. And so he's an amazing career. And as for some, for a guy who is so affable and friendly and everything. I mean, he's just a unique guy. I really can't say much more about him than that. But great piece, early example of his work there with Man Wolf from Creatures on the Loose, and then we've got a Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. Let's take a look at this. Lots of zipatone on this. Very cool. Yeah, you know,
extending panels effect. That's cool.
Right. I was just gonna say I always love creative panels and lettering. You know, the way this is done here with the lettering above and below that. I mean, it's just I don't know. I like it when they try to do something a little creative and different. I mean, I'm not sure how perfect it is, but I always like those attempts. I mean, like whether I think we were just talking the other night about Perez Teen Titans and how they always found interesting ways to separate the panels with story, you know, and they would do some just interesting ways of breaking things up and separating things and just ways that you wouldn't expect to see in normal comics. You know, story, you know, text might always be a box within the panel. Instead, they would try different things. And so I think stuff like that's always really cool. Lots of nice action in here as well from George. Let's see. Now I think those were the last art pieces that you sent me. Is that true?
Yeah, there's there's a lot more. I mean, this is just a sample of what we have. There's a lot more where that came from. Other pages, other artists, syndicate art, and foreign covers, as you can see here. There's just a lot more from that Buck Rogers collection, the Tarzan collection. Then the the catalog goes throughout history. Outside of art, there's a incredible comic book section, mainly CGC graded. It's a great Buck Rogers Sunday.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah, came from Gene Seeger again. His deep lifelong dedication to a character.
70 and 80 years old. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Think about some kid in 21, 22 looking at it in a museum somewhere. I'm glad it still exists.
Yeah, no, very true.
Yeah. Thanks, Gene. And everyone else who had the forethought of saving something rather than throwing it away.
Word up.
You know, that's we thank you for that.
So when you started working with that collection, did you know that there was a lot of original art in it, or going into it, did you have an inventory?
It was a focus of his, but there's a lot. There's just a lot of everything. There's when he would get into an area, it was. I mean, we've been dealing with pop culture since 1967, and to say that there's Buck Rogers 1970s toys that we've never seen shouldn't be. But
right.
He found them, didn't even get a chance to put them in the book with Ted, or it just didn't make it, and just archived them. Like he found them, moved on. Like I have it, it's archived, it's in the ledger. Move on to the next thing, and as long as he had it archived, it was done. Yeah, I knew that there was original art there, and he was very, very proud of it. And this one is another great, and it's and the fact that it's signed to Steve Douglas from Calkins is a really great cover.
Yeah, that is.
What year is that one from?
50. Okay, now you're really testing me here.
43.
43. Thank you. Yes.
It's wild.
Yeah, I mean, there's just finding artwork from that period is difficult, to say the least. I mean, everybody knows that who tries to find artwork and collect artwork from that period. There just isn't that much out there. So, yeah, these are really great. but yeah, so you have over 100 pieces of art in the auction, and a little bit of something for everybody. And
Yes.
we got 2 days left in the auction to go, and then what do you get? Then after you get everything shipped, is it switch back to the consignment mode? And
I was on a trip today to
Yeah,
get
it never
consignments.
so you okay?
I drove to Pittsburgh and back today. That's where I was. So I was actually kind of close to you, I guess, Bill and Sean.
Yeah. Couple
I
hours away.
I drove across Indiana last week, I think it was. Or sorry, I drove across Ohio. So I've been busy. Pretty much once something goes to the printer, I'm already, where marketing happens while I'm moving forward to the next one, answering the phone and getting everything in the building. There's an interesting page.
Yeah, I love Colin's work. So this is a page from Night Force. If you weren't reading along while I was clicking on things, everybody.
Master of Shadows, that guy.
Yeah, for real.
It's a dark page.
It's only as Gene could do it. He's fantastic. I finally picked up a Gene Colan a couple months ago.
Congrats, buddy.
Yeah, Doctor Strange page. So yeah, he was always at the top of my list. I just couldn't find the right page. So yeah. So 2 more days, and like you said, everybody should register early. Don't wait till the last minute, because if you have any problems, it gets a little harder to reach Kelly or Tim.
Yes.
But they're just a phone call away, and that's the main thing.
If you could just flash Sean's cell phone number on the screen right now for everyone to write down.
Okay, let me take care of that right now.
It's a bad strategy. I'm not the ideal middleman.
Well, you're the only one not at the office, Sean. So
correct.
I'm a
he can answer. He can give you an answer to any question. It just is not going to be the right answer.
That's right.
Not
Marcus has put his Tinder up. Oh, we better not do that. We don't want to get him in trouble.
It's a very strong auction. This auction starts to end tomorrow with the historical, political, and sports items. There's really some unique, one-of-a-kind pieces in this auction. There's a great page too.
Yeah, as I say, Todd just said there was a Tomb of Dracula page in here, so I had to see it. Oh yeah, this is great.
Yeah, it's a great page. It's great. Yeah.
Now, who's the anchor on these? Is that? Not seeing it. Oh, Tom Palmer. Yeah, it is Palmer. Okay. Palmer was always my favorite anchor on Cullen, so I was kind of assuming it was him, but I didn't want to go out on a limb.
I love Palmer. Everett guy. I think his the limited stuff he did is amazing.
No, I agree. I do agree. So, any last words before we call it an evening, gentlemen?
Well, thanks for having us on the show, Bill. It's always a pleasure. And, of course, that's hakes.com. If anybody has any questions or anything about getting online, you can call us. We will be at the office ready to serve your needs.
Yeah. Things start to end tomorrow.
Yes,
Original art, comic books are Wednesday. There's a lot to look at. So bid early, bid often, and good luck.
Yeah, and you asked the question really early in the show tonight, Bill. You said, talk about the process real quick. The way I do it is I just watch a few things, and then I kind of let them kind of funnel. So if you have any questions about that, you're welcome to call in during the auction. But what I do is I watch multiple things, and then I pay attention to see what's hot and what isn't. And then if there's something I really want, I'll get into it early and let the timer kind of work in my favor. I'll stagger my bids. I'll bid on one and then let it time, and then let the other one. I'll bid right behind it. That way I have like a constant flow of bids out there, and it lightens my chances of winning something I'm going after.
And one of the greatest ways, if you're bidding on, say, 30 things in the auction, you can watch your My Bids page, and it's like a green-red, very simple system that when you get outbid, what was green turns red, and then you're outbid, and you can just watch. You don't have to leave that screen. You can watch that that page of all your bids, and you can watch items, you can search pretty much anything you need. So it's a very user friendly site, and but that my bids page is a godsend if you're bidding on a lot of different things at one time. You can keep track of that in real time on that page.
I was actually going to ask a question, like, had you ever considered making an app or something along those lines? But if you have a My Bids page that does what you're saying, that kind of at least takes care of it for you.
Yeah, and we're
gives you
currently, I mean, we're always working to update and get new things out there. So
well, your site's mobile friendly, so at the end of the day, that My Bids page probably functions well enough to accomplish those things. So,
yep.
It's something I need to do on CAF, as everybody knows, sometime soon. I got to make our site mobile friendly. So,
have you been a little busy, Bill?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting there. I can tell everybody that I actually got. Do I have it even here? Everybody knows that I used to own a miniature golf course because I got the check today. No, I don't even have it here. Should have framed it. But I'm one business down now, and all the things that I've had to do in my life, I have removed that one. Yeah,
you sold chips. I didn't know that. Congrats, buddy.
I sold chips today. Was the day.
Wow.
So yeah,
Good on.
exactly.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's awesome.
I've owned
I'll
that
give you a golf clap. Is that more appropriate?
Yeah, it was a 13-year experiment for me, and it's just nice to have it out of the way now. So now I can really focus on comic art and my passion here. And I still publish. I do have another side job where it's like a 3-month a year type of thing where I publish an art annual, science fiction fantasy art annual, and so I'm going to continue to do that because it doesn't eat up a lot of my time. But that job, I was it was open 7 months a year, so it was always something that was in my way. And now it's not. It's clear. So I'm thrilled and ready to tackle more projects here on the channel. So you guys know that you guys are always welcome back anytime, whenever you want to talk about anything. I enjoy talking to all of you. Yeah, we've had lots of great conversations over the last couple of years since we've been doing this, and you've been one of the one of the first ones to come out and want to do stuff with me. So you're always welcome back for anything, whether it's an auction recap afterwards, if you want to talk about anything, or any services you want me to promote or talk about. I'm always here for you guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate it, Bill.
Greatly appreciated. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you are a godsend to the hobby. You're letting people show off their collections in a safe way and brag. People love to brag, and you're letting them do it.
I was bragging 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly. But that's awesome, and you're letting us do this, and we're all up here, And I again, thank you, Bill.
Well, my pleasure. All right, guys. Well, thank you for showing up and hanging out with me tonight. Everybody as well in the chat. I appreciate everybody's comments
too.
Thanks for the comments, guys. Thank you, Nick and Marcus and David. Oh, everyone else, I can't even see your names, but thank you.
Yep. And for Marcus for keeping us in stitches as he always does. So, I'll see everybody tomorrow night. I've got Sean Gordon Murphy and his art rep, Jeff, will be on the show with me. Should be a lot of fun, and it'll be a very interesting conversation because we're going to be talking about how they handle pricing their artwork in a very aggressive marketplace. And, for a modern artist, creator, I mean, he's a writer artist, of course. It's a challenging environment, but they kind of stay ahead of the curve, and they kind of set their own prices. And I think we're going to have an interesting talk tomorrow night with that guy. So again, good night, everybody. Thank you, Kelly, Sean, and Tim.
See you guys
again soon.